In Chapter 5, we discussed the different types of phases of chemical species that we're going to encounter in this course. Solids, liquids, and gases. In that chapter, we just typically dealt with, one phase at a time. Our chemicals were either gases only, liquids only, or solids only. Okay? But in real life, it's not going to be that simple. In fact, typically, the types of chemical processes that you're going to encounter in your career are going to involve transferring a chemical species from one phase to another. Okay? In fact, I'll be as bold as I can be and just say that all commercial processes involve species transferring from one phase to another. Right? And so to give you some examples of this, in fact, perhaps the most talked about example of this is the COVID vaccine, right? So synthesizing COVID vaccines. And so the mRNA that's used to give instructions for how to make the spike protein, that's synthesized in water, right? But in order to get it to our cells, we need to put this mRNA inside a lipid nanoparticle, right? And so there's been years and years of research to just figure out how to get, mRNA from water inside these nanoparticles. And so that's one example of a chemical species going from one phase to another. And another more common example is even if you're just, environmentally trying to figure out ways to remove pollutants from water, right? That's still a very pressing issue in our world. And this sort of issue is based entirely around figuring out how to remove pollutants from water phases into something else, okay? All right, and so phase behavior is going to be critical to understand as chemical and biomedical engineers. Right? And to understand this phase behavior, we're going to turn to thermodynamics. And so with thermodynamics, this is going to give us tools that will allow us to describe the tendency of a species to go from one phase to another. Right. And so fundamentally, that's what thermodynamics is going to give us. For you, when you're working through these mass and energy balance problems, what thermodynamics is going to give you is it's going to give you more equations you could use in your degree of freedom analyses.